just a rental, and we want to get out of it as soon as we can.
Oh, I hope this works out for you, though, in those houses.
Are you looking at another place, Brandy?
Well, there's one over here and one over in East Wenatchee.
Well, I wouldn't be too close to here.
That's what it is. We got used to the swim pool. We get used out of that.
Then you can sell your house and get one without, right?
There you go. Well, I guess what my thought was is maybe we could just go and kind of just talk a little bit. The three of you are together, and then once I'm through, I was going to make a copy for each of you, and then give it to your kids or whatever. Or I'll be happy to make copies for them too. Well, we just thought it'd be kind of fun.
Kids would.
June just made a point.
Well,
It would cheer them up and give them something to laugh at.
There you go.
a script for us?
No, we're just going to talk.
I can't talk impromptu.
This isn't it. You...
No.
No, it's okay. But June, you were just mentioning you only have 3 pictures of your dad or something like that.
I have only about 3 or 4 of Mom and Dad together.
So think how precious just some live footage of video might be to...
What's that got?
Have the 3 of you.
Well, the 3 of you, you know.
Well, contact Ron Bowman. Where'd he get all those pictures?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to know where they got them.
I would too.
I'd like to have some, or copies.
Okay, who's the oldest?
You had pictures of everybody. What'd you say?
Who's the oldest sister? Betty must be the oldest sister.
Yeah.
How'd you
Is that
guess?
correct? Okay. Actually, I knew that. Okay. When were you born?
Do I have to tell?
Yeah, I'm just...
You're just talking. Well, I'll just talk too, but
Okay, you can just...
I'm just 39.
You're 39? Okay, that's good.
And holding.
I have a 50-year-old son. I was born November 25th, 1925.
Well, it didn't happen to be on Thanksgiving or anything, did it? No.
But it has happened on Thanksgiving. Different years.
I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know you were born on that day.
I was married on April Fool's Day.
Oh, you were?
What does that say?
Yeah, what does that say?
She was. They had 2 wedding ceremonies.
You're kidding.
No.
Once on April 1st and...
No, both
Morning
on the
and
same
afternoon.
day.
Oh, both on the same day?
One at 1 o'clock and one at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
One of the things I want to know about is, I want to know about Uncle Clem's car.
His car?
Yeah, his car. When you guys were dating,
Yeah.
did you have a convertible or something?
Are you kidding? We didn't even have a car.
His friend, Moen, had a car. Remember?
Dave
was it
Moen?
Dave Moen. Didn't he have a red convertible that you guys used to own?
Pat Mills had a convertible.
No. Your friend.
Uh-uh.
Well.
Randy, where are you leading us here?
Yeah,
Well,
really.
obviously nowhere. I thought for sure he had some kind of convertible, or he picked you up in somebody's convertible once or something. I remember part of this story.
Well, we went on our honeymoon in a convertible.
Did you?
Yeah. No, we've never had a convertible.
Were all 3 of you born in the same house and same place then?
No.
Tell them where you were born.
In a hospital. I've never been paid for. In Leavenworth, Washington.
You've never been paid for. What does that mean?
They didn't have any money.
Yeah,
It
there's
was
no
a
money.
depression baby.
Seriously?
For 10 days in the hospital, the whole thing was $40 and they couldn't pay it.
I'll be darned.
So I'm illegitimate or something.
Did they live in Leavenworth then, or?
No, they lived in Winton,
Where's Winton?
on the pass, Highway 2.
Before
Oh, that's a place you showed me when we drove.
Close to the rest area, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah,
Up
I'll be
through
darned.
Tumwater Valley.
That was in 1950.
Tumwater Falls.
That was in 1950. At least we're all being honest.
Yeah. Oh, you're older than me.
Now, Betty, where were you born then?
Everett.
And was Grandpa working for the railroad?
Yes.
Then?
Yes. They had just come over from Canada, and I was born, I think, 3 months later. So I almost ended up being a little Canadian.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
No, they weren't Canadian citizens or
Yes.
anything.
They were.
I have their citizenship.
Do you see why I'm doing
papers
this?
in- Yeah. have their citizenship papers at home, and they have copies.
I'll be darned. I'll be darned. So you're born in Everett, not in the same house that I remember in Everett. Probably.
They bought that in 1943.
That was
The
the house
house-
on Grand?
That's the one and only
Yeah.
house they ever owned.
No kidding.
That's right.
They paid $3,300, didn't they, for it?
Something like that.
Wow.
And sold it for 75.
Everett, 31st and Grand, huge house.
Was Lynn ever over there? Was she
I don't
around?
remember ever being someone else.
I think they moved out of it by the time Lynn was born, hadn't they?
Oh, yeah,
They
they're
were
living
They were in
in,
Ferndale?
they were living in,
Oh, it was those apartments.
oh, no, in Ferndale, yeah, you're right,
Were they?
Ferndale.
Good job.
Yeah. And,
Mom was born in Everett.
Huh?
Mom was born in
Now, where you, June? You were born in Everett?
Providence Hospital, I guess.
The same place as,
same as me.
Uh-huh.
as Betty.
Were you paid for? I wonder if I was.
No, Dad was working when,
Probably the
when we
only-
were born. I'm sure they did.
Only,
Well, I hope so. That may be a
That
debt
was
we have.
during the Depression when Patty was born. They brought her
Yeah,
home
that's
in
true.
a laundry basket.
Really?
No kidding.
How do you remember
well, at
that?
least they didn't
Oh, I
throw
never
me away.
remember that.
3.
I can still remember them carrying up the stairs in that.
She was
laundry
4, almost,
And how many years apart are you guys all?
Yeah.
17 months.
20 years old.
17 months between you and, and June. And June, how much between you and Mom? Pat?
4 years, well,
4 years?
almost 4.
So you're 5.5 years between you and Betty then.
I have said 18 months for up till.
It's 17.
I have said this for 68 years, and then she corrects me.
68 years.
She wants people to think she's younger.
Well, let's see. July, August, September, October, November. Maybe
5 months apart. A slow twinship.
I laughed at about 19.
Oh, I would have. Well, I can remember when Patty was born, we were living up above the Holmeses' house. And Dad had been knocked out of his job on the railroad, and we were living above these friends. He still had his job on the railroad, so they invited us to live in their railroad home. And Patty, I think, was born during the night. And of course, we were fine. People were down under, beneath us, and Dad came home and crawled into bed with June on one side and me on the other, and he says, "Well, what are we going to do with another girl?"
Oh, yeah.
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 So then you guys knew it was a girl, and
Well,
that's how he told you that it was a
Yeah.
girl.
I can tell you, Grandpa Crawford, till the day he left, called me Carrie, so he's. I was Carrie, so.
I can see why.
Well, and John Randy,
Huh? Yeah. Yeah.
they call you, Lynn.
Linda.
Linda, Susan, Karen, Carol.
But Blake, I can see why, because you and Carrie look a lot alike. Yeah, you really do.
Well, now, Randy, you told me a story, was it you, about, it had to do with your mom?
I don't know what story you're getting at.
Aliases?
Oh, that's right. This is part of our interrogation.
Just a second here. What is your real name, June?
True.
I didn't know
You've
this.
been going by an assumed name.
Yeah, my real name is Dorothy June, but Aunt Dorothy lived with us. But Aunt Dorothy, she was called Dorothy, but her real name was Ethel.
Is that right? Was Dorothy your middle name or just a nickname?
Yours.
What was her
Did
real
you
name?
send
Dorothy
her
Ethel?
I think, was it Ethel?
Of your own.
Ethel Dorothy? I don't know.
I don't know,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
Ethel Dorothy because she went by Dorothy. She needed the name Ethel.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then she went by
I think it's
Dorothy
wrong.
and she lived with us, so I went by June. And who was it that said there's a family that never goes by the name they're given?
Right.
Mine
Yeah.
says Grace, great, great.
That's how that happened.
I didn't know
Wasn't your
that
mother's
until-
first name Emma?
Emma Grace.
I didn't know
And
that
Pat is Patricia Grace. Betty's was Elizabeth Francis.
No, just Betty. Betty Francis. I was never Elizabeth.
That's on your birth certificate.
It is Betty.
Is this another one of these 68-year holdouts?
Yeah.
Everybody, here's
What
the
else do you want to know, June?
either. Well, so far we have, they lie about their birthdays.
That's right. And their
They lie
names.
about their names.
I can
They weren't paid for.
myself to lie about.
And they owe money to the Leavenworth.
And they owe them.
You know what the interest rate must be on that?
Oh, I
Oh,
We
boy.
were talking about, I could never possibly pay it. I was thinking about it one time, but not for long.
Really?
Yeah, on Mother's Day, all the kids were in Leavenworth, and we started talking about it. And Phil says, "Wonder what that would add up to, you know, with
Oh, I
interest
think
and
you want to
everything."
know.
And he says, "Probably never be able to pay it."
You should go in there.
And besides
and
that, the
slap
hospital
40
burnt
bucks
down, so we got no record.
Donation.
Yeah, Mom, just make a $40.
Yeah, $40 donation.
Yeah,
in the
just
hospital.
send $40
This
to
is
them.
for.
Yeah, well, easier.
Anybody got?
Well, how about favorite stories when you were growing up? Can you think of anything? When you were real young girls, or about the other one or
Used to
something?
fight.
Did you?
No
Or even
way.
about Grandpa and Grandma. I want to hear about them.
Yeah.
Kids don't fight.
What was Grandma like?
Yeah, what was Grandma like?
Especially girls. Right, Randy? She was always an excellent cook.
You were her favorite, so.
One time she gave me all her old lipstick, you know, all her old stuff, and it was in a sack, and I went down the street, and this little boy down the street, I painted him from head to toe. And with the lipstick, you know, and I went home, and I crawled on Mama's lap, and I said, "I love you, Mama," and she says, "What did you do?" I never told her, and the kid's mother never
Who was the
looked me
kid?
up either. Oh, just some little neighborhood boy.
Where was this?
A moment.
How old was
Probably
he?
the Boris.
Was he? I was probably 4
He had
or
it coming,
5,
didn't
and he was younger.
Honored little kid.
Well, I can remember
It is
one time
suspicious
when
when
we
they do
lived on
that.
Rockefeller, and June was just a little tyke, probably 2, and I was probably 3. And we were all dressed up in the darlingest little dresses that I bought. Were darling. And for some reason, I went out to the garbage can, and I found an old bottle of Mercurochrome.
Careful, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's
And I
right.
fed it to June.
What is it?
Never did like me.
I was jealous. And it poured down her nice, really clean dress.
Oh, yeah, at least.
So the next hour or
there's
two,
iodine and mercurial.
they poured stuff down her to make her vomit.
Oh.
We never did
Raw
put it down.
eggs.
You fed it to her?
I gave her the.
She gave me the Mercurochrome,
Yeah.
but it was iodine.
No, it was.
Well,
the
either one.
Will you quit arguing with me? I don't know what I fed you.
It's like what Patty says, I don't remember it that way.
See, there it is. They both have different ideas.
We do. We always remember everything just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I want to know about sleeping in the same bed. 'Cause I can remember Mom telling me stories about this.
Food.
Yeah, who brought in the food? Aunt Betty.
She did.
Quit sleeping in bed.
We had to share a double bed. And we'd get in bed at night, and she would draw her finger down and make a crease in the sheet. And she'd say, "Now you stay on your own side." And then I'd be almost asleep, and she would reach under her pillow and either take out a sandwich or an apple, quite
No,
often.
mostly crackers.
Clem must have really liked you.
And she would eat these.
What else would you do with it?
I was awfully skinny, I needed the extra food.
Well, I can remember one night, though, Patty was really mad at me, and
Happened a lot.
she took a safety pin and opened it and put it on my side of the bed.
I remember that.
Well, funny, I can't remember that no more.
So I went.
The old I don't remember story.
So I went to bed, and Betty saw it, and so she poked me, she pointed to it, and then
Oh,
pointed
darn, I
over
wish
to
I had.
and then pointed over to Patty. And we started making up the story about this person dying because they got stuck by an open safety. A single bed, all three of us were in the same room, Betty and I in the double bed, and Pat in the single.
How's it
And-
o'clock?
What
You
did
can
you
have a
think?
decent bed.
We do remember it differently, don't we? A little bit of hay on the floor.
Can you move the goat a little bit?
Anyway, we made up this real
Bitsy kept you
wrestling
warm.
story about how terrible it was that this person died from being stuck with a safety pin. And Patty didn't say a word. She didn't say a word. I thought she must really hate me.
I was probably laughing.
Anyway, she finally said, "Oh, Jude, I think maybe I saw a pin on your side."
See how nice your kids are?
Yeah.
Anyway, she did fess up.
Sounds
She
like
must have been pretty
confession
mad.
to
It took her quite a while.
me. Waiting for you to die, probably.
You were bad. We're Remember what it was about?
What?
Remember why you were mad?
Yeah, but I don't even remember. Well, I think they're making it up.
Is that not the way you remember the story?
I don't remember the story at all.
Yeah. That's
That's a
convenient.
nice girl.
Says who?
Yeah.
Okay, we've established that Grandma was a good cook. What else was she like? If I remember right from being a
She
kid,
worked hard.
she always had a dress on.
Yeah.
Did she?
And
When you grown up?
nylons.
An apron. I always
She
thought
never
maybe it was
wore-
because she was always in the kitchen.
She never wore pants in her life, I don't think.
Really?
I don't think so either.
Well,
She had nylons every
It
day
was
and
always
heels.
cotton,
Is that what the kids, I
cotton
mean,
floral
what
dresses.
the women always wore?
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah,
House dresses.
with aprons.
Yeah.
she would put a dress on in the morning, and then toward afternoon, she'd put a different dress on.
So she went shopping.
Boy, it must have been a lot of ironing.
She also
Yeah,
was
she
a
had the
crochet,
iron and everything,
remember?
yeah.
I remember she, and I remember
She
actually,
never had a real automatic washing machine until just before she died.
She always had breakfast on the table before she went to bed. Was that Grandpa? They always put the plates out. They put it
Yeah,
on
I
the
did
table.
right, Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had the table
I
set, I
remember
remember that.
She never went to bed. It didn't matter if we had a shower for a friend or a party in the house. We had to heat the water, and then she would do the dishes. We never went to bed with dirty dishes, ever.
Just like me.
Or sweeping the kitchen floor.
Sweeping the
Matt doesn't go
kitchen
to bed
floor.
with dirty dishes either. He says, Phil, will you do the dishes?
And do you?
I refuse to answer.
Sometimes he does, sometimes he
Well, I don't know.
Anything else about
She never
Grandma?
drove.
She never drove?
She never did get a license, did she?
No, she would, well, she's shopping, she'd walk down with her shopping bag, walk all the way uptown, do her shopping, and walk back in.
Where are you living at then?
Grand,
Okay.
31st and Grand.
So most of your growing up was.
At one time, no, Patty,
She
remember?
didn't. She
Because she
drove.
Yes.
Oh, I never
And
remember
it really upset her. And also, she was driving when you fell out of the car in Leavenworth when she took us to Sunday school one day.
I guess we need to ask where you live.
I know she tried a cigarette once.
Boy, she was a racy woman.
Yeah. We were living in Walnut and she was standing there, and I don't know where she got a cigarette, over the toilet, smoking it.
Huh.
That was her.
She learned to drive along Tumwater Canyon.
Oh, man.
Dad bought a brand new Ford. I don't know, it was just before the Depression hit. And the salesman took Mom and was teaching her to drive along Tumwater. There was no cars in those days. Then the Depression hit and Dad lost his job, so we had to get rid of the car. But she, the last time she drove, for some reason, she drove in Everett. And she was going up Everett Avenue, as I remember, and the car stalled. And I don't know how we ever got home, but that was the last time she ever drove.
I never did see what she was so shocked.
No hill holders, you know, no nothing. Had to shift, and she just couldn't handle it.
Do you remember what the address is of the house you lived in on Grand?
3124.
Okay. I'd like to go, but is it still standing, you know? Or?
It looks pretty
well,
good.
of course. We lived there.
Except if used to have a woodshed and a garage and a utility room, and then kind of like a little room. You went upstairs above the utility room.
Doesn't
It was
it
kind of like
anymore?
well, the roof is like this.
Oh, I think that's all been fixed, Patty.
Oh, really?
When were you there last?
Long time ago.
Because Dick and I went there.
Oh, really?
Because
I thought it was
my
gonna
gosh,
flat.
reunion.
I thought it was gonna
Yeah.
fall down. It
And
should have.
Because we all,
I
the
think
three
they
of us
took it.
went 10 years ago, and it was falling
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
And it was rippling.
Yeah.
And then, Mom and Dad
Yeah.
went.
Maybe they replaced it.
About a year
About a
ago,
year
I
ago.
think part of the buildings were taken down.
That would have been a nice size storage. I could get a lot of junk in there.
I can remember that house. I remember as a kid.
I remember it. I don't remember. I remember.
We had a lot of big dinners there.
I remember,
Yeah.
I remember wanting to roll down the stairs
Yeah.
and Grandma stopping us.
She always
Me,
had
Grandma.
at least, she always had at least 2 cribs upstairs. Because June had to have a baby every time Betty or I did, it seems like. So we had to have 2 cribs. You know,
I remember one kind of wintry day, and you were off to school.
Yeah.
And it was the front porch and the steps were slippery. And Mom says, "Oh my gosh, Patty's fallen down the steps." And Mom ran out and she fell down, and I was hysterical.
That was June.
Was it you?
Yeah,
Oh.
she fell. And then Mom
was
went
so
out.
mad at me for laughing.
She fell too. And that's when they
It was
found out
funny.
she had high blood pressure. Because she went to chiropractor.
Were you laughing at your
Did
sister
she
or your
hurt?
mother falling?
Oh, both of them.
We looked pretty silly. We were
Well,
just
yeah.
flying.
And then the other one, whoop whoop.
And Dad would, well, you and Dad were both standing there laughing.
Were we?
Yes. I think she was gonna, if she could have gotten either one of them at that time. You would have been in
Well,
big
she
trouble.
could spank. Boy, once you were spanked by Mom, you remembered us.
What about the place she grew up in? Have you ever been up there?
Places.
Places?
Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
We never lived anywhere very long.
I remember Burlington more than anything, but I
What period was that?
was in the 4th grade, moved there.
About 1940 to 43.
Yeah,
Wow. So I was right prior to moving to Everett,
yeah.
and
Last house any of us lived in, single.
what do you mean single?
Well, we all got married out of that house, didn't we?
Oh.
No, out of Everett.
Yeah, I said, oh, that's what I mean.
Linda, you had a question?
What about, how did Grandpa and Grandma meet?
And where did they meet?
Well, it's in Edmonton, Alberta. I think Mom's, you can correct me.
Oh, I will.
No problem.
No, you tell your version, she can tell.
Yeah. All right, my version
All three of us probably have a
is
different one.
that Mom's parents both died very young. So Mom took in boarders, and I think she had a woman help her. And it seems to me this man was boarding at the house and going to university, and his friend was our dad.
Who was Gus? Was it McGregor or something else?
It may have been, I don't know. But anyway, Mom and Dad started to date. And that was it. What's your version?
Believe it or not, it's just about the same.
Is that?
Wow, we finally agreed.
I don't remember, I wasn't there.
Your grandpa was in medical school. How long did he last?
2 years.
And he dropped out.
They got
Oh, I
married.
fell in love.
Oh,
I didn't know
Love
that.
our education.
loved on him.
Yeah.
Grant, honey,
I don't think he really liked school that well, though. His father's brother, well, that would be his uncle, was a family doctor. Well, where would that be? New Brunswick, someplace.
Quebec, New Brunswick, maybe?
In that area. That was quite a poor country. Anyway, it sure seemed like it when Dick and I took the tour up through the New England states. In that area. Must have been a hard life. They had They had a nice farm, and then when his father died and his mother had a stroke, and the oldest brother took over the farm. But they had several sons, and there just wasn't enough to support that many people.
Well, Dad didn't like his brother's wife.
Anna.
No,
That was
well, she
really-
didn't. Yeah. She had all these children to take care of, with one more to take care of, and a mother-in-law who had had a stroke. In a way, I felt sorry for her.
Yeah,
was
She
in
gave him
detail.
permission to run away.
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
14, wasn't it?
That was Grandpa.
Yeah.
She gave him permission to run away at 14 years old.
And he went and lived with his 2 spinster sisters who taught school.
Yeah, Mildred and Jesse.
I have her Bible.
Who, Mildred?
There was an article in there about.
So how many siblings did Grandpa have?
9? I mean 8, weren't there 9 of them?
There were 2 girls, and one little girl named Elizabeth died when she was
What
3,
about
I
Margaret?
think.
What about darling
And there were
Ada?
about 5 brothers, and they all looked alike. All looked like their father.
Huh.
I gave you a picture.
Yes, she was pregnant with Dad, so he
That's
wasn't
right.
in the
He was
picture.
the baby.
He was the last one.
Oh, he was the youngest.
Now, handsome men,
Yeah, they were
really
all very
handsome.
good-looking.
and they all looked like they were
See how you guys tell your looks?
so much alike. It's funny.
I did. But those, was it their parents before them? They weren't too. Remember one with the bonnet?
Yeah, I
She
do.
was kind of funny looking.
Her name was Peacock, wasn't it?
No, Dad's mother's name was Peacock.
Oh, that's right.
Elizabeth Peacock.
Who was the disciplinarian? Was it Grandma or Grandpa?
It had to be Mama because Dad was never there.
I got one spanking from my father that I remembered, and I really did deserve it.
You want to hear the rest?
Yeah. Well, we lived out on Crescent Drive, and there was no inside plumbing, so we had a large pot with a lid on it at the landing of this upstairs. And because I was the oldest, I had to empty it. And I was mad, and I grabbed that handle of that pot, and it hit the steps, and all over me, all over the steps. Dad must have tried to really control himself, because he could have killed me. I had to clean it up.
Who did?
No, it was
fell
me.
with the.
We both had it. We were carrying it. It was too heavy. We hadn't emptied it for
You didn't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did.
See?
Didn't you?
I don't remember him spanking me.
Oh, he licked me. Oh.
Well, you were the oldest. You should have.
Probably all your fault.
I remember being on the steps when that thing flew, and I think we were carrying it between us.
No, I don't remember. It seemed like I was the only one that hit the step.
Well, it was punishment.
And I
enough
deserved
if you
it.
go
I
down
really
with
did. I'm sure there were 2 or 3 days worth there.
So who had to clean it up?
Huh?
Did you
Grandpa
make
cleaned it.
Oh, he did.
No wonder he hit you.
Yeah. I knew
Where's
it.
Mama?
Where's Mama? She's probably hauling her ears.
Yeah.
While I was screaming.
And her nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, those spots were awful.
I ever remember Daddy spanking me, but Mom spanked us. A lot. And we deserved it too. I can remember I was washing the dishes and June was drying them, and we got into a terrible argument, and she ran out the back door and I ran after her with a towel in my hand. I was going to hit her with it, and we ran through the house, then we ran out through the front door, and it had a big oval glass in it.
Oh, I remember that. I thought.
And I slammed the door behind me,
Uh-oh.
and it smashed into 1,000 pieces. And they couldn't afford to, money was so tight. And Mom spanked us both, and we sat in the bedroom and cried until we were trying to cry, forcing it. We were never going to speak to her again, ever. And then Daddy came in, and he was always laughing at us and making fun of us, and we kind
Making
of
you
got
laugh at
over it.
yourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, was she mad.
Huh?
She was sure mad.
Well, I don't blame her.
Yeah, but the door should have been sturdier.
It should have been glass.
That's funny.
Oh, God.
Well, what else about growing up? Anything else you? Funny stories or?
Mom has talked about, you talked about when Grandpa was staying up in places on the mountains, or in the mountains.
Oh, yeah, Cashmere?
Yeah.
And we went up there for
We're up
Christmas?
for scenic.
Scenic?
Oh, yeah, that was after we were grown, though.
Yeah. And how you go fishing for your dinner and some of the, some of your best times with your, remember?
Yeah, we would have
we
starved to
spent
death
summer.
if we would have depended on that.
That's for darn sure.
Junior was a fisherman, though.
Yeah, June was the
Get
fisherman.
enough fish for
Pam
lunch
got that from
breakfast.
Mom.
Yeah.
Pam's the fisherman in our family.
It was fun though, and he was always so pleased because he'd get off work about, I don't know how early in the morning. But he'd walk home and he would be having breakfast and then he'd go to bed. So if I had the fish, he would have fresh fish for his breakfast. The only thing is he did make me kill him, and I did not, I'd catch him, but I didn't want to kill him. And that was one thing, if I caught him, I had to kill him. Said
Did
was
you clean it?
cruel. No.
Who cleaned it?
He did. I'd kill him, but he had to clean him.
I can remember when we lived on Crescent Drive, and we had a couple of little banty roosters. Oh, and they fought, and Dad kept saying, they're going to kill each other, and I'm going to kill them before they do. And we said, we cried, oh, don't kill those banty roosters. But he did, and Mom fixed them for dinner. We weren't going to eat any. We did.
He had rabbits, too.
Yeah, we didn't eat those though.
What did you do with him?
They just got wild. They got out and they got wild.
Well, Mom, didn't you tell me Grandpa used to catch squirrels for you guys? Or
Chipmunks.
I caught him.
Would you
Myself.
eat them?
did Grandpa make a trap or something?
Yeah, he made a trap for me.
Pets.
Oh, for pets?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, you'd get hard candy and they would sit there and lick
Yeah,
it.
oh, they were so
cute.
cute. Well, he made a trap, and I asked him later how he made it. He couldn't even remember, but it was a box about so long. Then it had a wire hanging out, and we had a ring or something and a string, and I guess
Oh, sure,
it
you
was
told
held
us.
up. Yeah, and when they got inside, you pulled the string, and then we'd get a
Scunny sack.
gunny sack. Yeah. Put them in there, and then we would take them up to the depot. And when the train came through, this man named Calcaire we'd put them on the message thing, you know. They used to come by and put their arms through that. And we put the chipmunks and squirrels in there, and he would catch them and take them to Seattle and let them out with them.
But at the return trip, he brought us a big sack of candy.
Oh yeah, and then the next time he dropped off a big sack of candy bars
Now,
and
why
stuff.
would you do that?
Huh?
Why would you do that?
This was fun.
Oh, it's just something.
When you
good.
get out somewhere, you got your family, period. Nothing to do, so June fished, and I
Oh, so you
caught
got
chipmunks, and I don't know what Betty did.
There weren't any other children there.
No, we were in.
One was another couple
Railroad,
about 40 or so.
With the
And then there
railroad.
was Mom and Dad and the three of us. So that was it for the
I'll
whole
tell you
summer.
what I did.
What?
I made a cherry pie on a camp stove. Oven.
Good for you.
For the whole summer,
3
that's
months.
all I
Yeah. We used to count the train cars.
Yes, and
Over
once in
100?
a while, there'd be a popo relieving himself.
Yeah, that was fun. We had an old swinging bridge across the river.
Which river?
It was just a creek, really.
Oh, it had fish in it.
Yeah.
The one going by Burn.
Was it the burn?
Are you leaving?
Are you going?
We're gonna push pause here for just a second.
Grandma was sick a lot?
She had to have surgery, and I think I taught in first grade. And I remember sitting in school crying because I thought she was either going to die or bring a baby home. I wanted the baby, but not the, she didn't bring a baby home. But anyhow, while she was gone, Daddy baked the cake. And it was like this with the hump. And the hump was underneath too, and nobody would eat it, even the dog wouldn't eat it.
Did he try it?
Huh?
Did he
I
try it?
don't
It
know,
was the
but
spice cake, as I
if it
remember.
was
He wouldn't let me
potatoes,
bake it.
you could
Yeah,
make
Betty and
potatoes.
I wanted to bake a cake, and he said, no, that's too expensive to use all those good ingredients and then not have it turn out. So he makes his cake, comes out of the oven, and as Patty said, it would raise just beautifully, and we thought, oh, what a beautiful cake. Well, when
like
he
air
picked it
bubble.
out, it was just a hump. Nothing under it.
Oh, that was so weird.
It was the worst tasting thing. I felt so sorry for him.
Now, was that, did she have a double mastectomy?
No,
No,
single.
One.
she had a radical.
Huh.
And what year was that?
In Blake was born, 54.
Yeah. Because I had both of them, Linda and Karen, when I went up there.
You used to talk about Grandma making her cinnamon rolls and her flour to be
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. You guys all tried to figure out how she did it. And she said, "Oh, it's so easy." And nobody's ever been able to do it.
She never used a recipe. She just say put enough flour in, to make it work, and I want a recipe.
And you're not supposed to really beat dough, but she would be punching it and throwing it all over the place, and you'd think it would be just as hard as like hardtack, and they would be light and fluffy. The best cinnamon rolls I ever tasted.
Remember those cookies she made with icing? I asked for the recipe for that, and same thing, just enough flour to.
No specifics.
Now, growing up,
I need the recipe.
I remember Carol, applesauce on potatoes, or what did he do?
rhubarb sauce on toast.
What did he do, Carol? Remember Grandpa used to put
And he used to
applesauce on...
He put applesauce in everything, and mix it in, you know.
Oh,
He just liked, he just liked applesauce, and he liked potatoes.
please don't do that.
Grant, go bring it out, please.
And what did he say about it?
Well, he used to say to me, that to me, because I didn't want it touching. He used to say that it all went to the same place.
That's right. Got a point there.
We grew up listening to that also.
Oh, really? Doesn't make sense either when you're a kid.
Oh, gosh.
Now, how did you get to school? Did you walk to school? Or
Yeah, or ride a bike.
Grandpa didn't take you? Or...
Heavens, no.
Didn't you tell me a
He's
story
gone
about...
a lot.
Didn't he used to meet you halfway or something you say?
At night, when I was in high school. And I went out and started home. Always had to call.
From school?
No, from school dances or stuff like that at night. Anytime I went out, I had to call, and then he'd meet me. I'd start out, and he'd start out. We'd meet on a wreck or somewhere.
So you'd have to walk
Oh,
to
yeah,
the dance too?
Oh, yeah, we never had transportation except our...
Did you walk alone?
Well, Shirley and I would come down, Hewitt. Yeah, I never, and she lived about 2 or 3 blocks that way, and I lived 2 or 3 blocks the other way. In fact, we even did that in the morning a lot.
Now, would her parents do it too, or did Dad
No,
usually do it? Grandpa?
Now, this is for my kids. How much did it cost? I used to hear these stories to go to a movie and get a hamburger and a milkshake. And
Well, the movie cost a dime.
a dime to get in a movie. Is that for one movie or 2 movies? Double feature.
They had to then those days.
I can remember,
Hamburger was nickel.
when did it change? When we were 12?
Yeah.
Went to the adult, and I think that was 15 cents, and I remember going up and getting my ticket and shrinking down so they would think I was still. I was always tall for my age.
You guys all used to work odd jobs, didn't you, to help have extra money, and a lot of unique odd jobs, like didn't you decorate Christmas trees or trees downtown? Mom used to put lights on trees. It was you. I'm not
See, Joe.
See? We all remember it differently.
Yeah.
Where'd you get
I
that?
worked as an usher,
No.
and I worked
At the Everett
Mannix,
Theater?
and
And the
I worked
skating
at the
rink.
dime store and the skating rink, and I worked in the grocery store.
Mostly it was Mama that worked at the skating rink.
What?
I said mostly it was Mama that worked at the skating
Oh,
rink. So you guys
oh.
could skate.
She didn't help where we worked.
No.
No,
She'd
she
be
did
there
not.
and you'd be skating, and I'd be with her. See, they don't remember.
Mom, didn't
And
you win
remember
some
she
contest
took over the lunch
skating?
counter one time?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember
The
that.
The tango, yeah.
You in the
the
tango?
skating.
Who were you skating with?
The owner's son.
Bancroft, huh?
Poker
Yeah.
tape.
Yeah. Pause.
No, we weren't that good. It's just the others were worse. Well, they had closed our skating rink, and we were all over in Mount Vernon. And the Mount Vernon group thought they were so hot, they would. It had all these fancy
No, Elaine Dale.
introductions on to start on the different dances. And we didn't know any of them, so the other couple went to one corner. We'd been standing there while they just walked off with all the prizes. And so we looked at each other, we said, what have we got to lose? At least we can go out and skate and enjoy ourselves. So we mimicked everything they did. And we were pretty good as far as mimicking. And we won
Wow.
That was doing a tango.
a tango. I had 2 sprained wrists to show learning how to do the 3 on that. But I learned it and it paid off, see? I can always say I won one contest.
Oh, that's
Why?
great. Well, how do you remember holidays, like Christmas and stuff? Do you have a lot of money or anything?
I
Do you
can
guys have
remember-
traditions or?
Well, I can remember Betty and I, since Dad was gone so much, we used to always put out the toys for Patty so Santa Claus would come.
Really?
Yeah.
And I heard him one night. Where'll I put this? Where'll I put that?
Oh, we had more.
And I came out and told them I knew there wasn't a Santa Claus, and they were really upset.
Oh, way to go.
You know why? Because I had saved my money from working for Aunt Frances and bought you a doll.
Well, that wouldn't have been much, would it?
It wouldn't have.
No, seriously, I mean, she was a relative, and
She didn't believe in over.
no, I think
What she's saying
I
is
would
she'd
get
do a heck of a lot of
paid
work to buy you
for
that
four.
doll, Mom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, that's what I mean. Is it wasn't she didn't pay, so it took her a long time to save it. I used to babysit for her, and you get like 60 cents for a whole
Mom, you made it sound like, well, that isn't very much. Yeah, thanks a lot.
No, that's what I meant at all.
Oh, gosh. Well, I would say that we had a very happy growing up.
We were poor a lot, but we didn't know it.
Yeah, but no. Well, we may have known it, but everybody else was too.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we were darn lucky. We had parents that loved us and cared for us and gave us everything they could.
Did you get married in the same order?
No.
You weren't first? Who was first?
Betty was first.
Then her.
I was the old maid.
You're the
I was
old maid?
24, and my mother was so afraid I wasn't going to get married. She was. I
Well,
got
that's probably
married on
old
my
back then.
21st
Yeah.
On my 24th, no, I got married on my 24th.
Oh, you ought to know. I thought she was 25.
I noticed that Aunt Betty's position has really softened this year.
We want the
sitting
dates, we
right
don't
next
want
to her,
to.
Because I remember she could hit. I really did think you were 25.
No, it was her 24th birthday.
Well, that's
My
it.
24.
I thought it was
She
your
was
25.
25 when she had me.
She was 25 when
Going
you
on 26, yeah.
Well, you ought to know too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I better have been only going on 24. Either that or you're illegitimate.
Well, I'll be darned.
What kind of jobs did you have during the Second World War?
Well, that was about what we were saying. I was working for the Power and Light Company when the war ended. And the reason I was working there is that my mother would not sign and let me go into nurses training because she had to go into service.
Yeah.
And I was only 17 when I graduated. And you had to be 18 to sign up for the service. And they wouldn't let you in nursing school unless you went into the nurse.
I did.
Oh, okay, you both did. I never did.
What about plane spotting? Did you do any plane spotting?
Yes.
In Burlington,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you did, all of you did?
well, I'd go with my mother.
What is that?
Plane flew over, you were supposed to identify it. Yep,
And
it's an
report
airplane.
In
No
case
kidding.
there were any
Huh.
unidentified planes flying over during the war.
I'll be darned.
We got out of school to do it.
Yeah.
Scam. A boondoggle. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I thought it was serious business.
Not their patriotic, did
That's
you?
right, yeah.
Betty
Yeah.
Morton and I did it, and I always made her call in.
Well, we
What-
did
what-
it
what
in
does
the
call in
evenings
mean?
quite often, no?
Call in.
Yeah, what does it mean to call in?
We called some office to tell them what planes we saw going over.
Oh,
Crazy.
Well, one other
Yeah.
thing we did do, we signed up for, what was it, messengers or something? That if we were bombed, that we would deliver messages.
If we're still alive.
Pure
Well, it would be pretty hard
yeah, there's only one way out of this
Yeah.
contract.
Grant, please.
We would deliver
Grant, move over there, buddy.
messages
Over here.
now to different areas.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, Daddy was a
Here's the
warden,
daddy,
wasn't he?
please.
An air warden?
I think he was.
What would that job be?
Just to make sure, I think that people had their blinds pulled, no lights were showing. We thought we were going to be bombed.
Yeah.
Well, remember that?
During the blackout, see, they would go out and check to make sure that people and you couldn't see your lights.
Or people should be off
Remember-
the streets.
Remember the night the
Yeah, hard to believe.
army came to town?
Oh, I'll never forget it.
I was home alone, I think,
Yeah.
and I heard all the sirens and stuff, and I think Mama was at the rink with you guys.
I was home alone and you were with
Oh, ball!
That's more logic.
Anyway.
Which one of you had my grandmother fed her the one-legged chicken? That's what I want to know.
What?
From the Smothers Brothers. The one-legged chicken.
yeah.
Mama liked you best. Anyhow, what happened when
I
So
didn't even get the chicken.
convoy came to town, and there were sirens and everything. In the middle of the night, they took over the skating rink, the Legion Hall, the churches, any empty building, or even it wasn't empty. And the next morning when I went to school, I rode a bike to school, and when I went to school, all these soldiers were sitting on the curbs, the sidewalks, eating their breakfast, their rations. And then later, we used to talk to them, and they'd give us cups of sugar. And I remember we was talking to them one time, my sisters came walking down, and I said, "That's my sister!" And woo, boy, they got excited.
Soldiers
Yeah,
are
the
us.
soldiers. And we had them for holiday dinners sometimes. Everybody.
I remember Mama served carrots and they could hardly eat them. They had so many carrots in the service.
Well, what happened, they brought in all these troops because that was the main road
Yeah.
going through.
down
And if they
there.
could stop, they figured that was going to be one of the main targets.
Huh.
So they put all these troops in town to just get kitchens ready to feed them was a problem in that small town. So the townspeople, whenever they could, they would try to invite them up. They asked them to try and have them over for dinner if they were willing to.
Yeah.
So we had them over quite often on Sundays or weekends and things. But the poor guys, they'd be sitting out on the curbs eating their meals because they had no place to go and sit.
Wow.
A lot of times they were just lucky they got the meal, I guess, trying to find kitchens and places that they could even prepare this. Don't you remember them sitting on the curbs?
What year would this have been, do you know?
41.
41?
Well, probably 42 by then, because the war started.
We were actively in the
in
war then.
December of
Oh, yeah.
41. Oh, yeah.
In fact, the boys that we had for dinner went down to the South Sea Islands in that terrible battle down there, and I've often wondered.
Yeah.
I've got a letter from one. It was so-
I think she blushed.
The first date I ever had
Besides Clint?
was done by my mother. I think she was worried I wasn't going to get married. Lois and I were checking, Lois is my best friend, and we were checking coats at the skating rink. And these two nice young soldier boys were talking to my mom down at the concession, and they wanted to meet a couple of nice girls. So what does mom do but bring those two boys down to introduce them to Lois and me, and neither one of us
Mama.
dated. So they wanted to take us out the next night. So I waited and waited for the guy. I tore a handkerchief completely apart. I was so
She's
nervous.
so excited.
This was December.
Was it right?
Yeah, and finally he got there, and Lois and another guy, we went to a show. And when they dropped us off at home, it was cold. We had this big ante room that you stepped into, and then the living room, and Mom had put a big blanket across to keep the cold out when the door was open. And she served us cocoa, and when he went to say goodbye, I held that blanket way back. I don't know what I thought he was going to do. Well, the next morning at school, I was in chemistry class, and I think there were 5 of us girls and about 20 boys, and the messenger from the office came in, and she's in a loud voice said, "Betty, Crawford, there's a soldier waiting down in the office for you. I could have died, absolutely could have died. And, you know, everybody, Betty out with a soldier. Oh, it was so embarrassing.
Were you a junior then, huh? Junior in high school?
Probably. So he had come to say goodbye. They were shipping out. And I said to Lois, do you remember the names Don Black and Kenny Sly? Kenny Black and Don Sly. Those are the two boys that we went out with, and I've never forgotten their names.
Impressed her.
I've often wondered, they were both from Idaho, and I've often wondered if they survived.
Yeah, look them up.
How do you?
From the phone book.
But you know, I think there is some place that you can find.
That was that guy.
If they're still alive,
Yeah.
there's a software package. In fact, several people have it. I have a guy at work that has it. He gave me the names. He would search it for you.
Does it go by?
It goes by state, or you can load it by last name. If it's not a common last name, it wouldn't take long to run it.
Well, birth date helps, but she
Well,
wouldn't
it
have
would
that.
definitely help,
Yeah.
but yeah.
They go through the drivers,
I'm not sure. if it's
voters
driver's record.
registration.
Well, I don't want to meet
drivers,
him
and
again, but
telephone,
I'm
they
just
really
wondering
go
if they
through a lot.
survived.
You could do on America's Most Wanted or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Betty was wanting to see this boy again.
Try to explain that to Clem.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
See what kind of sense of humor he has.
Isn't it crazy what you remember?
Maybe he'll be the next one on Most Wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, what other questions? Anybody have
They're still bad.
anything you guys
I could turn
think
it
of?
up for another notch.
Grandpa ever talked about his time in Nova Scotia?
In Nova Scotia?
Not much. The only thing, when we were in Halifax, they were, of course, all the tours would mention this big explosion that happened there, and Dick could remember that. He talked to Dad quite a bit about, he was in the RCA when it happened, and they sent all of them over to Halifax for the explosion. I don't know if you ever heard about this, but it was during the war, and the ship was loaded with all these explosives, but it was during the war and no one knew it was loaded with explosives. It was coming down the, what is that, a river that's,
St. Lawrence or?
I think, isn't it St., well, anyway,
Yeah,
I think it is the St. Lawrence. And another ship was going down also, but it caught fire, and they couldn't get the fire out, and no one realized that this other ship that it was going to collide with was loaded with explosives. So it was early morning, and I guess everyone ran down to help put out the fire. Well, about the time they got there, it connected with the one that was loaded with explosives, which no one knew because that was top secret in the war. Well, the explosion happened. It was worse than any atomic bomb. And hero, I mean, if the people had known, they would have run the other way. As it was, everyone was running to help. And it was just devastating. You couldn't believe it. And they said Dad and all the soldiers, and he mentioned how terrible it was.
Yeah, never say anything about that.
He never talked to me that I know of either, Pat, but he and Dick had talked about it quite a bit. It was really sad. If you ever go there, they'll tell you all about it. There's pictures in every museum. And if you go on a tour of the city, they'll tell you how terrible it was and point it out.
Did you guys know anything about their parents?
They were
Not
all
much,
dead before they were even married.
Oh.
People didn't live long in those days.
That's true. That's true.
Pretty short lives.
So after they had the Everett house, and you guys all left from there, then was their next move to Scenic?
No.
Ferndale.
When did they move into
Yeah,
the
because
apartment?
Lynn was just a tiny baby when they were up in Ferndale.
We were in Southern
And then
California.
she
when
was
we
still a
came-
baby
They were living
when
in
they
the
were living in
apartment.
Scenic.
And then they moved to Scenic. They were in Scenic when we moved back to Olympia from Southern California in '61.
So they went from Ferndale
Yeah.
to the
To
apartments.
Scenic, and then they went to. Well, I don't know when about the
Oh, no,
apartments.
the apartments in Everett was before. Yeah, it was, they were at Broadmoor when I was pregnant with Lynn and taking care of Lynn's son. So that would be in '60.
And from Scenic they went to Cashmere.
Yeah,
What apartments in Everett?
Broadmoor.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Well, you and Carol were small. You went down, they had all the mailboxes lined up, you know, in the hallway. And this guy from PUD that your dad knew lived right next door in the other bottom apartment. In that, yeah, I think there were 4 apartments in each building. And one day we came in and Blake had something in his hand and just down the mailboxes. I guess the guy was asleep or something.
No, let's.
We aren't here to talk about me.
Yeah.
That'll be another interrogation.
Yeah.
Well, I remember Scenic, we got, I think all the families got together for Christmas one time. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's one of the, I can remember that Christmas. That was one of the best ones I think I,
Snow.
yeah.
It was great. And little
We got
Shiva
sleds
she was a
and,
puppy.
and-
Yep.
And we got saucers.
yes, and it
That was
came
the
down
first
those
time I'd
little
ever
tiny
seen
hills. and-
saucers, yeah. And there was a wood stove heating the house.
Yeah.
I remember afterwards, Mom and Dad telling us, and actually when I was an adult, Mom and Dad saying they'd never been more terrified of a house fire in their lives.
Really?
But I remember Grandma, that was a little tiny kitchen, but it had a beautiful view overlooking the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just, you know, she always was baking.
Yeah.
Always those
We never
wonderful
went in that
smells.
house when there wasn't something baked. Pie, cake,
Yeah.
cookies.
And it was so warm, and yeah, it was a happy time.
I can
Yes.
remember the turkey she did that time. It was 24-pounder. I had
The
never
one
seen
we
such
dropped?
a big turkey in my life.
The one she dropped?
Did she drop it?
When Thanksgiving or Christmas, when she was getting it out of the oven. And I was laughing so hard. Oh, we just picked it up.
Did it land on the floor?
We probably had Francis and her family and a whole bunch there.
Look at that.
How great.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
Oh, it was funny.
Don't remember.
I remember we started to try to take a hike that Christmas at Scenic.
Up the hill.
Yeah, and we ended up having to turn back because the snow was over even the adults' heads. We
Yeah.
were tunneling. And the kids thought it was a great adventure.
Yeah.
But the adults all got very nervous and
Yeah.
made us go back.
Well, it was beautiful.
It was. Those little houses aren't there anymore. No.
The foundations were the last time I saw.
Were they?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I
Like
doubt
Susie and
that.
I stopped. It was
Susie and I.
the year I got out of college, so that was 21 years ago.
Hmm.
The foundation for that house was still there, right?
Gosh.
Yeah,
Just the foundation.
just the foundation, there's nothing else there.
Wow.
Buildings were gone. But
The
we could
train
tell
station
exactly-
gone? And-
Yeah, the foundation was there, we could tell exactly where the house was. We
Hmm.
could drive right up to it and we could make out where,
I'll be there.
Dad loved the woods and the trees, but I think that it did get to him a little bit there. There weren't enough people around and it was pretty isolated, and he said it does get to you after a while. He was glad to move to Kashmir. I think they were happy there too.
I think they were both very happy.
You know, they went to baseball games in the evenings.
we had that big garden in the back.
Mhm.
Grandma was able to grow up her cucumbers with clay.
Was that a house or an apartment? No, that was
It
a,
was a
Duplex.
Duplex.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's still in good condition.
Yeah, it's still there.
Well, you went there? I wouldn't even know where it was.
No, I wouldn't either.
The duplex?
Did you go over and
I
see
mean,
his
we lived
house?
in that before we
Where
bought
he
the
and
house.
Leona live?
I've seen the house.
How does it look now?
It looks exactly the same to me, anyway.
Nothing's changed. There's a boat for sale.
Yeah, we passed it today. We saw it.
Leona's
Yeah.
house?
Yeah.
I missed it when we came.
I did too.
It's a nice park out front.
Yeah.
Grandpa's
Yeah.
fruit
It is.
trees
That's
and
probably where
garden
you're
front,
missing it.
but was-
Yeah. She sold that lot to the city for $5,000.
Oh.
And I says, boy, they really took you.
No kidding.
Didn't matter, really. Just what you gonna do with it?
I remember taking the snow train when we were kids to,
Oh,
Yeah, wasn't that
And
one
you
that
know,
was that?
giant
And every
pots of
single
goulash.
oh
grandchild was
yeah,
there.
yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
All the kids.
I can remember being on the train and Linda and Karen and Susan were talking and one of the kids said, boy, you can sure tell our mothers are sisters. They all have frosted their hair. And Susan
Well, we
says, but
still
my
do."
mom's natural. You remember that?
No, I remember the train, but I don't remember that comment. I remember all of us sitting out in your old house in the living room, and the three would be out in the kitchen, either preparing dinner or
Yeah.
be after dinner, and we'd hear you guys laugh. And
Yeah.
we'd all go, that's when we'd all laugh and say,
Yeah.
boy, we can sure tell they're sisters.
Yep, yep.
That's my mom. No, that's my mom. No, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
mine. You can hear all three families debating.
And I remember them all running around with their stupid cameras every time they get together.
Remember at my wedding, one of the best shots is when all 11 cousins are lined up for that cousin shot.
Yes.
And all three of the mothers are lined up with their cameras. I have a shot of that.
Oh, that
All
would
three
be
of the
good.
mothers
Do
are
you
lined up.
really?
Yes. In fact, with that, we had
I gotta hear
Steve
something.
and Ron. I have a professional photo of you three with your cameras.
Oh, neat. That'd be a neat picture.
I'll
Yeah.
have to bring it next and next time we're together.
I can remember we'd go see Dad and he'd load us up for vegetables out of the
Oh,
garden.
yeah. Bigger the better.
Yeah.
Look at the zucchini.
Stuff in the trunk. And Clem and I were celebrating some wedding anniversary. And we wanted the Flynn's, who are friends of ours, to go with us to dinner down in Mount Vernon. And we couldn't get over the terrible, terrible odor in our car. We had searched that. We just searched every place and we'd sprayed and the Flynn's had a driveway that slanted. And Louise Flynn is shorter than I am, and we were telling them about this terrible odor, and she was looking in the trunk, and she said, well, could it be that? And their grandpa had stuff this huge zucchini. I mean, you know, and it was rotting.
Darcy is concerned. Better.
And see, it just caught. It was on a slant and it just caught her eye. Oh, I just couldn't believe it. And let's see, that would have been probably October, and our anniversary is in April. So it's rotted all that time.
Oh.
6 months. I remember stopping to visit him one time, and he didn't recognize me at first because I went to his gas station. I was on my way home from visiting Randy,
Yes.
and then he was so excited when all of a sudden, and so we ended up going home together. And I couldn't leave his house without, it was October. I ended up with, I think it must have been a bushel of grapes. And I thought, what on earth am I going to do with these grapes? And I ended up making them into a grape liqueur and sending it back over. And I remember Mom and Karen telling the story about how they thought it was juice.
Getting blitzed.
Oh boy, was that good.
And it was
No, you know, he liked this, what was it?
MD 2020.
Yes, it
Oh.
was. Have you ever tasted it?
No, I don't like wine.
It's cough syrup.
Not a teenager in America who hasn't tasted
Really?
it.
How did you grow up without MD-20?
Yeah.
We
He
brought
had
in
his
this
childhood
liqueur, and I told Leona, I said, now I want you to know this is a liqueur. And she says, oh, well, let's have some. And I said, well, don't you want to wait till after dinner? She says, oh, no, let's have some now. So
Glug, glug.
like I poured in a little bit in each glass, and we were sipping it, and she says, oh, my, that's tasty. She went over and poured a whole big glass of it, drank it, and I think she poured another one. And I said, Leona, you do know that that is a liqueur. And she says, oh, but it's so tasty. The next day when I saw her, she didn't remember fixing dinner. She didn't remember. She didn't remember.
She fixed
dinner.
dinner?
She did.
Well, fixed dinner.
As much as she ever, you know, we all did. I didn't even realize that she was out of it. Oh, that was funny.
Oh, gee.
In fact, she was kind of mad, and I thought, hey, I told her about 5 times. What more can you know? The rest of us quit, but she thought it was so good. Well, it is good.
Maybe she didn't know what liqueur meant.
No, I don't think she did.
Well, now I know where our mom, every time she comes over here, she's stuffing my trunk with something. Yeah, she inherited that.
Of course, our dad does that too. He's got that vegetable garden. Need any zucchini?
Yeah.
Got plenty of tomatoes. You check out those carrots.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
What year did Grandma pass?
1964.
64?
Ron Bowman was a copy of
64 what?
Oh, really?
Huh?
What happened in 64?
Grandma died.
And she died of,
Heart attack.
Didn't she have rheumatic heart disease from strep throat or something?
That flu, the big flu in 1914 or 18 or somewhere in there. That big flu epidemic they had almost all over
Which
the world.
damaged her heart.
That's what they figured, but I didn't.
How old was she then?
63.
No, when she died, but you mean when she got?
No, when she died.
no wonder I don't remember that.
Yeah, but when he brought Leona over, it wasn't too long, you know, after his mom died. Then comes over and, Grandpa, did my grandma still died? Then John, he was sitting on a stool and Dad was introducing Leona to everybody, and Lynn says that first, and then Johnny says, my grandma's up there.
What is going on?
Yeah.
No wonder when you come down.
Yeah.
Okay, now, what
Well,
about
let's cut
Grandpa?
it a little bit shorter.
We're on the downside here.
About
We are Pop.
Huh?
You better be on the downside.
We are, I promise.
And he
I promise.
survived
All right.
colon cancer, right?
2 minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
He was
And then-
diagnosed in 1969.
That would, you know, I
Same year
often
as
tried
Grandpa.
to
Yeah.
remember when that was, because it was soon after I went to work for the city, and I had, I guess that was my first biopsy, wasn't
Your first what?
it? Biopsy. And
Yeah, 'cause I remember you and
nobody
Dad.
told me about Dad until it called.
I
That's
got
right, I
the news
remember.
from both of you at the same time. The same 8-9. But you
And
know,
I
he
met you
survived
guys when
it.
I came over. Remember that? You were staying in the motel. Well, I think we ran into each other in Rockville.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and you tried to talk me into staying overnight.
Yeah, and you wanted to go home to sit in your own bed.
Mm-hmm.
See, we agree on that one.
Yeah.
Well, Betty, how many grandchildren do you have?
6.
You have 6. June, how many do you have? Mom, you have plenty of time to
Mom's
prepare, so
thinking.
you can.
Right?
8.
I have one great grandchild too.
Oh, you have one great grandchild. That's right. That's right.
Boy.
Oh, I have to tell you a story when this is here.
I hope my mother doesn't say I have any great grandchildren for a while.
Carrie Ann.
I did not. You were going to tell a story about Carrie?
Isn't that who?
Carrie Ann is
When
her
we're done,
granddaughter.
it's
And Carrie Ann has a little boy.
I was
That, that's right, her great grandson. I mean,
No,
great grandson.
yeah.
How many great grandchildren do you have?
Hold it in.
Two.
I have
Oh, I
7 plus 9 steps.
Oh, yeah.
9?
Yeah, plus, well, Kiko,
Plus
but I
half.
count her as one of the grandchildren. And Ed's got 2 greats. And he's got 8 too. And they're both, on both sides, it's 2 boys and 6 girls.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Girls are better.
I don't know that I'm gonna argue.
Okay, and Linda, what's the story about
Oh, it
Carrie?
doesn't need to be on.
No.
No, I was at my 25th high school reunion, and I was talking with this young man, he's older than us, but he's married to one of my classmates, and somehow the subject of Ferndale came up because that's where he grew up. We have a cousin that lives there now, and he said, oh, really? And we said, yeah, and he goes, what's his name? Oh, well, he went to Bellingham. You probably don't know him. Well, no, Bellingham and Ferndale were quite tight rivals, and we said, Karen and I were together, and we said, well, Carrie Ford. And Karen looked at me and I said, well, yeah, Carrie's a good guy. And he's like, it has nothing to do with being a good guy. Carrie Ford married the most beautiful girl in my class, who happened to be a good friend of mine, and I have never forgiven him. Turned out he was in love with Mary Ann.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. What was his name?
Fulton. John Fulton.
John what?
Fulton, Fulton. His older brother, Pete Fulton, was my advanced algebra teacher for 2 years in junior high. My favorite teacher. Almost all 2 and a half. And when I mentioned that to him, he said, well, boy, has he changed.
Oh, that's funny. I'll have to tell Carrie. John Fulton.
You're gonna
He
forget
married
about
one of
that.
the nicest gals in my class.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good.
What, are you gonna let us off the hook?
Anything else? Carol? Any questions for,
Or answers?
This is a live interview, Carol.
No,
I think I have to take my
I know.
Well, did you guys talk about his robbery at all?
hurting.
How he
Oh, this one's
couldn't stand not working.
Grandpa got a part-time job
at the gas station.
at 80 years old or something,
And he lied about his age.
and he lied about his
No,
age.
he didn't, did he?
That's what you
I
told me.
never asked him.
I don't think
I don't
they
think they
asked
asked
him
him.
how
They
old
never
he
asked
was.
him.
And
No.
they didn't know how
They
old he
didn't
was
know
till he
his-
got robbed.
Yeah.
And it was
I
a
don't,
newspaper.
I don't think he would have lied.
They just never asked him.
Grandpa
how
wouldn't
old
have
he was.
lied. No, I don't ever know him to lie. Ever.
Yeah, it was just an oversight. They never asked him because they could, when they interviewed him, they just assumed he was 10 or 15 years old.
Well, I don't
Well,
think
he had
they
his
could find
way.
anybody
He
to
was
take a job
good.
like that. It was hard work. Long
He
hours.
loved
it.
Yeah, I know he did. And then even after he quit, when he was robbed, he'd say, gosh, I wish I had that job.
Maybe I could get a job driving school bus. When he said that, I thought, oh my gosh.
I can remember just holding my breath driving with Grandpa. There'd be 2 cars here, and he'd drive up to the stoplight, and you'd swear the car was sucked in to get between them. I mean, that is the truth. He could get into the littlest places and not scrape anything.
Yeah, but that car, he got kind of scraped.
Yeah, it was kind
His
of.
last car he had.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What, Fairlane? Yeah.
How did that happen?
Going into his carport, I think.
Yeah, I thought so too, Patty.
Boy, he didn't hold his breath.
Yeah,
Oh,
because it
I
would have
didn't-
been really expensive. Did
I
he say he
didn't know
got
that.
estimates or something and tried to find parts?
Oh, I don't think I ever heard about it.
Linda? Nothing, Randy?
He was the sweetest, nicest man in the whole world.
Yes, he was.
He never seemed to ever get mad. Did he ever get mad?
No, except when I dropped the pot.
Pesky toilet thing.
Everything with a grain of salt.
Everyone has
You
religion.
just
Yeah.
put a positive in it and go, well, that's the way it is. Let's move on.
What was it like being the youngest and the oldest?
It's
In
wonderful.
the middle.
Well, I think they always expect more of the oldest, don't you, Linda?
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to be another episode, isn't it? And then they're so tired, they don't know what to...
Right, Randy?
Of course, Randy was the oldest boy in our family.
Yeah.
That's true. Well,
It wasn't
He ended up with 3 mothers. 4.
four mothers.
yeah, he sure did. How did you survive? You could write a book.
I may. You know, what I'm thinking more about, though, is not writing the book and getting them to pay me off.
That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah, I got that Bahama Sunshine all planned.
Well, I talked to Susan's middle boy, Chucky. And I said, Chuck, how do you like being the middle boy? Oh, he said, I just love it. I said, you do? That isn't usually the answer you get.
Yeah.
I said, it's just great. He said,
Yeah.
Brian gets into trouble all the time, and Jeffy, he's spoiled. I don't know.
Wrong
I don't know.
That's good.
You get lost in trouble, huh?
Oh, who knows?
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for doing this. I really would, and I hope everybody gets a kick out of it. Yeah, you guys were really good sports. I learned something. Even you guys, I think, learned something about each other.
Yes, we
working
did,
with
that they're both
And we
liars.
still don't
Yeah.
They're terrible memories.
That's right. That's right.
So we'll debate the memory part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very,
That's
very
for
much.
sure.
I appreciate it. Signing off for now. Just a second. I got to pan the room a bit. Carol helped over here. Yes, she's hiding behind the thing.
Well, if you need any retakes,
There's Lynn.
forget it.
Yeah.
There's Linda. There's Randy. And there's me.
Anyway, you did do.
I'll